life coach and Acudetox practitioner, as well as a holistic healer. And I have a strong sense that I have actually spoken with Sumayya in the past. I'm more than certain about it because her name definitely sounds very familiar. I'm looking forward to talking to Sumayya today because we're going to talk about anxiety and the different types of disorders that exist. And I have no doubt in my mind that if we kind of didn't pay, or if we didn't take anxiety disorder seriously in the past, now more than ever before, in these past couple of months of lockdown, I have no doubt in my mind that many people have presented with some form of anxiety or the other, be it, feeling terribly claustrophobic because of lockdown and restricted movements, or whatever other reasons, or being anxious about the fact that maybe they'll be diagnosed or come into contact with someone with COVID-19, then they contract it and become seriously ill. Maybe the anxiety and the fear of losing a loved one through COVID or anything else. So anxiety, I think, takes on so many different forms. There's so many reasons for why we start over-worrying, over-stressing, and send ourselves into an absolute tailspin. And we can't then break out of this loop. So what exactly is anxiety? How do we start, breaking down those barriers around us? Because really, I think anxiety is about being in self-imprisonment. Because if you're not able to go for counseling or talk your own self out of the state that you're in, you're not going to be a very happy person. You're going to become, never mind emotionally unwell. It is going to manifest physically as well. But let's hear from someone who knows more about anxiety disorders than I do. And that is, of course, the lovely Sumayya Coovadia. Assalamu alaikum to you. Welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah, Julie. How are you doing?
I'm good. We have talked before, have we not?
Yes, absolutely, we have. And it's so lovely to be with you again after a long time.
Well, thank you indeed. And, I immediately recognized your name and I said, no, but I have spoken with this person. So I'm very, very happy to have you back on air again. I think we spoke to you last year sometime, perhaps even longer than last year.
Yes, I think it was probably 2 years ago.
Okay. So fill me in, what have you been doing since then?
Well, I've expanded my horizons.
Wow.
I'm in the profession of holistic healing.
Wow.
And then I've been a counselor for SADC as well for the past 6 years.
So I understand. Congrats. I think that's amazing that you're doing that work. And that obviously is purely on a voluntary basis, is it not?
Absolutely. Voluntarily. I feel that we have to be able to give back to our community.
Right.
And what better way to give back than, just giving your time.
Yeah.
Giving your time is something that people find very difficult. But just being there for someone, like, for example, our topic today is anxiety. We get so many callers that call in with anxiety, especially because it's COVID right now. And just helping them, talk through what's going on, giving them 1-2 strategies that empowers them makes all the difference to people.
Right.
So I've got like first-hand experience with anxiety because my son suffered with very bad anxiety and panic disorder in 2018.
And was there a specific reason for that, Sumayya?
The thing is, Julie, there's always a specific reason.
Okay.
It comes down to unresolved trauma and unresolved emotional issues. And especially when it comes to boys and men, they don't talk about what's going on. So they keep everything in. And my son was someone who was very strong. He thought he's emotionally very strong.
Wow.
Almost that macho type of personality. So they don't talk about what happens with them. But he finished matric, and then he went into a very high-pressure job where he was teaching English to Chinese people.
Right.
And every single day, the job was so pressurizing. So he did that for 1.5 years. And then what triggered all of this is one day coming back from work, he was almost hijacked.
Oh, no.
And it so happened that I was away for that weekend, and he was alone at home. He just called me up to say he's back home, but didn't say anything more about it. And, what he didn't realize is that 24-hour period sitting with all of that by yourself triggered very bad anxiety in him. So it started off very slow, very subtle. And because he was such a strong personality, he didn't even want to accept that he's suffering with anxiety. But now, obviously, given my background working with SADC, I already picked up this is anxiety you're suffering with.
Right.
So he was someone who never spoke about emotions. He was completely detached from his emotions. So I had to do sort of informal, not counseling or therapy, but, as a mom, you can't just go in there and treat your child as a client or a patient. So I started with him, just teaching him to open up more, talk about things more. I gave him more, psychoeducation on what anxiety is all about, until he had his very first panic attack, and that was at the gym, and he was all alone. And it was in the basement of the gym, and people that were around him thought he's dying.
Sure.
Paramedics also thought he's dying. And I said, you know what? My son suffers with anxiety, and this is a panic attack. But they wanted to make sure. So, he went in for a checkup, and it was just in a very bad panic attack.
All right. So let's talk panic attack. From the way you're describing it, sounds like maybe the person was having a heart attack.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
What are the signs and the symptoms?
The panic attack comes on first. It's because of the thoughts that they're having. The anxiety brings on physical sensations of them not being able to really breathe. They feel like they're struggling to breathe all the time. It's like a constant chronic state. And then what happens is they start feeling suffocated, like the walls are closing in on them. So even if people are around them, they become anxious. It's almost like, the social anxiety then that comes in. Everything, even if they're in a big room, they feel like they're in a small enclosed room. And suddenly they feel the heart palpitations, they get this terrible pain where they feel like they're having a heart attack. And that's now your full-blown panic attack. But the good thing is anyone listening to us right now that's suffering with panic attacks, remember it's not going to kill you. The lifespan of a panic attack is between 1 and 3 minutes. So it's not going to last longer than that. You've got to just learn strategies on how to cope during that time, just to calm yourself down. Know that you're not dying in that time. Focus on things that are outside of you, external, not what's going on internally. So all of that makes a big difference.
Right. So when we talk, and we know that COVID has really sent us all in a tailspin. I have no doubt in my mind that lots and lots of people have been having some form or the other of an anxiety disorder.
Yes.
You now talk about panic attacks. How else does, do you have very many different forms of anxiety disorders? Or is panic attacks the classic one?
Panic attacks, it ends up in panic attacks with people that suffer with diagnosed generalized anxiety disorder. You get the generalized anxiety disorder, then you get panic disorder, which is, it's like sort of come hand in hand with the generalized anxiety disorder. Then you get the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, where people think it's just about the physical actions that one does, where you continuously maybe washing your hands, cleaning up, counting numbers. No, but it's the repetitive thoughts that one has as well that puts you into this anxiety-filled state. Then we get PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, coming from a traumatic event where people haven't dealt with that. So, that also ends up in anxiety disorder. And then another thing which is very common is social anxiety disorder, where anytime a person is with people, suddenly they just feel all flustered, they can't talk. They feel like their tongue and their mouth is gone all dry. So these are the 5 major types of anxiety disorders that we get. However, when we look at anxiety in general, it's the body's natural response to stress. So anytime you and I or anybody else that faces a stressful situation, cortisol builds up in our body, and then that chemical causes a reaction called anxiety. However, that is short-lived. Let's look at matriculants, for example, Julie. Right now, they're busy with exams, right? So they're all stressed out and panicked and whatever. But the moment the exam is over, the body's natural mechanism works like this, and now the body brings down the cortisol level. They're no longer stressed out. But in an individual that suffers with anxiety disorder, that doesn't happen. It literally takes over their life. They're in this constant anxious state all the time. And when my clients come to me with anxiety, I like to explain it to them like this. It's like an alarm system. If you've got beams on the outside, your beam is only supposed to pick up a human, not a bird flying over. But if the beam is malfunctioning, it's going to pick up the bird that's flying over or the cat that's jumping over your wall. The same thing happens in the brain of a person that suffers with anxiety disorder. The amygdala, the fight and flight response doesn't turn off.
So now let's look at issues around perhaps some form of a childhood trauma, whatever that might have been, maybe abuse, whatever type of abuse. You now grow up leading a relatively good life, but you're an adult. You might be in your 20s, 30s, or even 40s. Can that come back to haunt you? Is there, a situation of something that can trigger and take you back to that horrible traumatic situation 30 years ago and then send you into a panic attack, or start making you anxious about similar situations that you're going to encounter in the future?
Absolutely. Anytime that, we're dealing with a person suffering with anxiety disorder, it's always good to go back to that childhood, because everything starts off there. So it's, trauma. We think that trauma is only, like a big trauma, maybe losing someone or being abused, or children getting raped or things like that. But we have the small daily traumas. Let's say a child that grew up with a parent who was very controlling or very aggressive. And it's a constant every single day fear that child is feeling. So every single day, this child is feeling a little bit of fear, which is building up, all the time. Okay, suddenly now they grow up and, everything is okay and they can handle the situation. However, they haven't resolved that, that trauma of every day being with their parent. Suddenly something happens, in their adult life that triggers everything, and they realize that I was fine for so many years. How did I start feeling scared and anxious and worried, and, everything comes back? It all goes back to unresolved emotional trauma, unresolved emotional issues. So the moment anxiety comes up, it's like these floodgates that just, opened up, and now everything is spilling over, and the person doesn't have any control of what's going on.
So how do you treat this? What's the best, and when? And obviously we know it's not an overnight fix. I should imagine a couple of a good few sessions are involved here. I should imagine it's psychotherapy, but is there a role for medication as well? And once the patient is treatment, can you hope that the patient, that he or she will have overcome it completely and they're not going to get episodes again sometime in the future?
Absolutely. With my son, again, he suffered with, anxiety disorder because his was extremely bad. For the whole year, he became non-functional. That means he couldn't even go outside of my house, just for like a minute. That's how bad it was. So people that are suffering that badly, it would take them a while. It took him a year to get over it, but alhamdulillah, today he is completely cured.
But Sumayya, would that have been with ongoing psychotherapy, I should imagine?
He didn't get any psychotherapy because for him to go to a therapist was just too much of an anxiety-filled kind of event. So I tried to help him out as best as I could. You see, the thing is with anxiety, you can't just depend on one thing because there isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of treatment. You have to try different things out that complement each other. So you can take the medication. However, he didn't want to take medication. Some people feel that, we're going to just get so used to this medication and start depending on it. And that does happen many a time. So once your body gets used to the medication, you have to keep taking a higher and a higher dose. So it's better to start people off, yes, if, just to take that edge off, maybe for 1 week, 2 weeks, go on to the medication, but then learn other things that are going to help you. There's, things like cupping, which is a sunnah, but it helps very, very much with anxiety as well.
Really? Tell
Absolutely.
me more.
With my son, cupping is the thing that helped him. The moment he went for his very first cupping session, obviously with all of my informal therapy that I had given him, I tried cupping out, and that worked brilliantly.
So what do you think happens in the cupping process that it helps calm the person down and allows them to overcome their anxiety or their stress?
Okay, you see, when it comes to Eastern philosophy, they believe that the cause of all negative emotions is a disruption in the body's energetic system. So that means any kind of emotion we have, fear obviously is so linked to anxiety. So fear gets trapped in the body. That worry feeling gets trapped in the body. So when you go for cupping, the cups that they put on our back is like an all meridian points. And as we know, meridians work with our body's chi, with the energetic system. So the moment you do the cupping, it's opening up those, those chi avenues. So blood and energy and everything to start flowing better.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this question. I know it's not necessarily in your field of expertise, but I have heard that people who are substance abusers go regularly for cupping sessions, and it does seem to help them. Maybe not allow them total recovery, but it does help in a way. Your thoughts?
I don't know about cupping. And people going in that have addiction disorders. I haven't heard of anyone, so I wouldn't be able to say much about that.
Okay.
However, the treatment, the Acudetox that I do, that is acupuncture in the ear, and that works very well with anxiety as well as, addictions and things like that.
Sorry, what?
The Acudetox treatment, that is acupuncture in the ear.
Right. Tell us more. And what did you say? It helps with what?
That helps with the anxiety. So at the time when my son suffered with anxiety, I was not yet an Acudetox practitioner.
Right.
Acudetox is basically auricular acupuncture. So it's a form of acupuncture, but done in the ear. 5 points.
In the ear or outside of the ear?
Not outside, on the rim of the ear. The parts where we make massage for wudu?
Yes.
It's done on those parts.
Right.
So we've got 5 points on each ear. So you're going to have 10 needles in. You sit for 45 minutes, and that's helping the body's energetic system to open up, to resolve, anything that's unresolved, whether it's trauma, emotional stress, from insomnia to somebody who's suffering with, let's say, pain, aches, everything in between.
So you sit for 45 minutes with these 10 needles stuck in your ears.
Yes.
Is there anything else you do in the time, or you're just meant to be still and calm and relaxed?
You're just meant to be still and calm and relaxed. Another thing that I do, Julie, with my clients, because I've worked with many anxiety-driven clients, and it helps so many of them. So my protocol is I do the Acudetox, I do with them, the therapy that they need, and I use essential oils. I'm not sure if you're familiar with how good essential oils are, but they are brilliant, because what they do is the moment you smell the molecules of an essential oil, it goes straight into the brain's limbic system and starts activating that to calm you down, to just bring some kind of balance in you. So automatically your body is already now learning that I can go from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state.
And you start you start relaxing. And what else is happening for you to overcome the anxiety, or let's talk pain, in terms, and a lot of people, suffer from some sort of physical pain or the other. How does the Acudetox then help? And how many sessions does one have to go for this Acudetox, whether it's for anxiety or any other disorder? but very specifically for physical pain?
Okay. I start off my clients with 5 treatments. So they would have 2 treatments per week. And some people need more than that, especially if somebody is suffering with, let's say, headaches. It works very well with people suffering with migraines, with, just tension headaches, pain in the neck and shoulder area, because that's, again, all tension, anxiety, all of that sits there. So the moment you put the needles in, they're working on different points in the body. Allah has made the body so amazing that, we can work through the ear and work with the entire body. That's how it works. So let's say, for example, we work with the kidney point. Besides the kidney being, the whole physical organ of detoxification and balancing the water in our body, the kidney holds a lot of fear. So a person that is very fearful, all the worry sits in the kidney. So the moment we put...
This is fascinating. Hold that thought. We need to take an ad break. We'll be back with you in a minute or two to talk some more.
As the crisis in Yemen continues, 80% of the population are in desperate need of basic necessities. The Africa Muslims Agency teams are on the ground undertaking emergency relief efforts. Come to the aid of the people of Yemen by donating any amount now towards food, shelter, and medication. Contact AMA now on 011 834 8685. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
Dad, well, I've been chatting with an investment broker today and...
Broker? Did the broker tell you that our economy is a mess? There's bushfires in Australia, America wanted World War III, and now the coronavirus is traveling around the world.
Well, I also thought about purchasing some crypto.
Crypto? What's that, like another pyramid scheme? I don't trust what I can't see.
There's an apartment in Belito.
So all your family will be asking to stay there for free. And what if the government takes it away, eh?
Dad, I don't think it works like that.
I'll tell you what works. Gold. At your age, I invested in gold coins and it paid for your university fees and your wedding. No contracts, no agreements. Your investment is in your hands and you own it. With a 70% growth in only 5 years, do you still doubt gold investment? Contact RJ Coin today, 031 202 4701, or visit them at 151 Stephen Lamini Road in Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
Endurance Boys College ke sekolo sa boarding and day se se ikemeng ebile se agile mmileng wa lephefo wa N1 Polokwane. Re tlhotlheletsa thuto ye hlwahlwa ya monagano le maikutlo lefelong la maleba la go akaretsa bohle. Re busha re latela melao ya NCS CAPS curriculum ra ba ra neela ka madulo go bashimane ba mephato wa botshelela go fihla ka marematlou. Ebile re na le dirishwa tša boarding tša mphato wa botshelela go fihla ka mphato wa marematlou. Maikemišetšo a Endurance College ke go fana ka thuto ya boleng jwa godimo jo bo tlhotlheletšago botho. Endurance College ke legae la bobedi la polokego le tatego. Ingwadišitšwe le lefapha la thuto le Umalusi accredited. Gomme tsebo ka botlalo o ikgwetša nomorong ya 078 452 6264. Re hwetša gape go letlaka la rena la Facebook le Instagram goba o re romele email go polokwane@endurancecolleges.co.za.
Visit the most exclusive abaya boutique in Durban, Lemia Abaya and Fabric House, specializing in individually sourced designer abaya pieces and unique abaya fabrics, available exclusively for you. Lemia Abaya and Fabric House. Find us at 490 Peter Mokaba Ridge Road, Durban. You deserve only the best.
After all these years, millions of Syrian refugees and displaced persons are still struggling to get adequate food and nutrition. Since 2014, the Al-Imdad Foundation's Flour for Syria campaign has provided daily bread to these Syrians. For just 5,000 Rand, you can sponsor 1 ton of flour and ensure that 10,000 pita loaves are delivered to desperate Syrian communities. Part donations are also accepted. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
You are listening to the Mid-Morning Talk with Julie Alli.
Welcome back. My guest is Sumayya Coovadia. She is a life coach, an Acudetox practitioner, and a holistic healer. She also volunteers at SADC. She has been doing it for the past 6 years. That's what she is putting back into her community. We're talking anxiety disorders and panic attacks. And of course, Sumayya was explaining to us how Acudetox works for different types of anxieties and body ailments. We were talking migraines and headaches and back and shoulder pain. We interrupted Sumayya at the point where she spoke about, I think it was the liver, and she was suggesting that is where all our worry and anxiety sits. That organ of the body holds all of that stuff. So I'll let you continue, Sumayya. Was it the liver or the kidneys? The liver.
It was the kidney.
Oh, was it the kidney?
The kidney, yes. The kidney holds a lot of fear. So people that are very fear-driven or feeling fearful about everything and anything, the energy in that organ gets stuck. It's almost like, when you in peak hour traffic at 5 o'clock, you're not moving anywhere. That's what's happening in your organ. So the moment you put a needle in the kidney point, you're opening up the flow of that energy.
As simple as that. As simple as that.
As simple as that, because we're an electrical system. We're a chemical and electrical system.
Okay, so then what will happen then? What sort of pain would one suffer from if you've got kidney pain? What is that suggesting? And is it lower back pain or what?
Well, it's not so much where a person will feel a physical pain, if they're suffering on an energetic level. If the energy is stuck on an energetic level, then it's opening that up. Usually what happens is when a client is sitting for 45 minutes, after that, they notice that they're completely calm. You ask the question like, how does it work with pain relief? The moment the body is in a calm state, the body can start healing itself. When we are stressed out, which happens to every one of us on a daily basis, everything stresses us out. You don't realize until you're sitting in a session, where you're getting some kind of calming, balancing treatments going on. You're like, oh my gosh, I actually feel so calm. And I don't know if this is normal. A lot of people say, I don't know if this is normal because my body is completely calm. And that's when healing starts taking place. So if healing starts taking place, the aches and pains and the niggles in the body start going away. And that's the reason it's so important, for everyone to find some kind of treatment that brings your body down, back into balance, into a state of homeostasis, because that is when healing begins.
And I should imagine, as always, it's not one size fits all. It's really,
no, absolutely.
I may need 10 sessions, somebody else may just need 1 or 2 sessions.
Absolutely. You know what? Some people might, 1 or 2 sessions, I always tell people, 1 or 2 sessions is just getting you sort of started, bringing your body back into balance. Keep it like to 4 sessions. Once you do 4 sessions, you realize, okay, you know what? Now I'm feeling good. My body feels like it's back in balance. And the amazing thing that happens, Julie, is that awareness is being created where a person realizes that, I think like after a month, I think my body needs another session, which is excellent because now you have awareness of what's going on inside your body. You're communicating with your body, instead of somebody on the outside telling you this is what you need and that is what you need. You're listening to your own body.
So is this where your holistic healing comes in? The cupping and the, do you do cupping as well?
I don't do cupping, no.
Okay.
I don't do cupping.
Oh, this is where the Acudetox comes in with the needling, etc.
Yes. The Acudetox comes in, the essential oils comes in, and then you get phototherapy patches, which are excellent as well. But maybe that we can do for another time.
Phototherapy patches.
Phototherapy patches, yes.
Okay.
It's called LifeWave phototherapy patches. They work so amazingly well because all of these treatments that I do work holistically with the body's meridian energetic system.
Now,
so each treatment complements the other.
All right. Can you do 3 different treatments, alternative healing treatments in one go? Is that possible?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because what happens is, let's say I've got a client that's come in here with terrible anxiety. I talk a bit with them, see what's going on, see where the root causes are, and then to calm them down, first thing, I always have my essential oils that are burning or in my diffuser. So that smell with essential oil is very important. We don't realize how important the sense of smell is. So the moment we smell those essential oils, they're already feeling calm. You see, the idea is when you do only talk therapy, you could re-traumatize the patient or the client, because now they've got to go back and tell you what's going on, what happened, all of that. The idea is for you to create a holistic environment. So the moment they walk in, they're already feeling calm, but they don't know how or why. And then you do the Acudetox treatment, which enhances that calm effect. And then what I do with some of my clients is give them these, little patches. They just little patches that touch on different points on your body, which brings the body to an even calmer state.
Wow.
So now you're treating the anxiety in 3 different ways on a holistic level. And people love it because they don't have to take, the medication or depend on anything. With these patches, you're not putting anything inside the body. The body is using its own energy,
Okay, so
to restore itself.
what is the patches composed of?
It's basically crystals and amino acids. That's what's in the patch. So each patch is designed for a different thing.
Okay.
And the moment you place it on the body, it works with the body's infrared light that's emitting from the body. It sends everything back and it starts to heal. That's what it does.
Wow. You sound like an absolutely fascinating lady. I think I need to come for 1 or 2 sessions too.
Oh, please do. Please do. It will be lovely to have you try them out. Please do.
Where are you based, Sumayya, and how
I'm
do people
based
get in
in
touch
Crosby.
with you?
I'm based in Crosby, Johannesburg. So you've got my number. You can just give me a call.
I
And
certainly
if
will.
anybody listening that wants to try it out, you can just call Salam Media and get my my contact details.
With pleasure, with absolute pleasure, we will give out your number. And is all of these alternative therapies, are they beginning to start appealing to more and more people? I know women kind of gravitate to these type of things, but what about men in these type of therapy sessions? Do they not think it's a whole lot of mumbo jumbo?
Not really. The men that come into my therapy room are always ready to try something different out.
Okay.
And you know what? Yes, they know it's not the conventional route of therapy. But what I think is that more and more people are understanding that the holistic way of living life is so much better, because it's dealing with so many different components, because as humans, we are complex.
Right.
So one type of therapy is not going to help everyone. So try out different things. Give yourself that, because you deserve living a healthy, happy, balanced life.
Absolutely.
And if you don't try out, just try out something different and you're going to get a different result.
Right. What's brought you to this point in your life? I mean, you're a life coach, an Acudetox practitioner. You're a holistic healer, and that's where the essential oils, etc., come in. And you volunteer at SADC. Where and how did your life come to this point?
I always tell people I am a student for life. So even though I am all of these things, I am still studying further and further. Inshallah, in December, I am doing an Afia healing course. So I want to add that into my practice, because Jazakallah so much. For me, it's all about, I always look at my clients, I always look at people, and I want to help people to feel, to feel better, to have a better quality of life. So my aim is always that when I get somebody coming into my therapy room, I don't want it to be that, where I'm only helping them with 1 or 2 things, but then they've got to go somewhere else for, other help.
Right.
People don't have the patience for that, and they lose faith that, things can help. So with me, it's a constant journey of learning more, getting better at what I'm doing. I'm someone who loves to live holistically, and I incorporate that in my daily life.
Are you able to practice these therapies on yourself?
Yes, I do that on myself. I don't stick the needles. No, I don't stick the needles into my own ear. I've taught my son, the one that actually suffered with anxiety. I've taught him how to put the needles in. So he does it for me.
Right.
But obviously the other therapies, like, the oils are very easy to use. The patches are very easy to use. So I use that for my kids. I mean, every single day in my home when you come, there's always essential oils. You can get the smell of essential oils all the time, because essential oils are such powerful little things that we don't even realize how amazing they are and how they could help. So I wonder if we could just in passing, just share with someone who's suffering, maybe on essential oils alone, Julie, that they could try out essential oils like lavender, orange, and vetiver. The combination of these three, and you can get them at Discount.
Right.
The combination of these three oils, using it as a carrier oil, is so amazing when it comes to anxiety, when it comes to that stress that you're feeling. Just using that combination.
Sorry, did you say lavender chamomile?
It's lavender, orange.
Yes.
And then it's vetiver.
Vetiver
oil. Yes.
Okay, I'm making a note of it.
Okay.
Right, so you mix the three.
You mix the three, 1 drop of each, and you get a carrier oil. It can either be a coconut oil or an almond oil. Just use it as your base.
Okay.
And then, you can rub it on the back of your spine. Remember, the entire back, the nervous system is sitting on the entire back. So if you rub it, whether it's your lower back that you can reach or, your upper back where it's your neck area that you can reach, and then just remember, whatever smell is on your palm, just cup your palm, onto your nose and inhale that. That's going to just calm you down. Try to do that for 1 minute. You're going to notice the effects are so calming.
I should imagine that if one did this just before going to bed, you'll have a really peaceful night's sleep.
Yes. Yes,
wonderful.
Absolutely.
Listen, Sumayya, you're an absolute delight to speak to on air. So very definitely have you on again. I thoroughly enjoyed the past half hour talking with you. And inshallah, may you continue healing people as you go along.
Jazakallah so much. It was lovely being on air with you again, Julie. I enjoyed it thoroughly as well.
And we'll do it sometime soon again, inshallah.
Absolutely. You take care of yourself.
And you, and remember us in your du'as. Have a great day, a great week, and a great year of what's left of it. And remember us in your du'as, inshallah.
Ameen. Jazakallah, likewise.
Assalamu alaikum.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcast.